Okay, so here we are. Those of you who heard me and are easily triggered by the AWSD keys or the arrow keys moving around, like clicking and holding those, don't worry, because if you're used to Maya like I am, well, they provide a little of that interaction too. If I hold down Alt, I can spin around my scene when I left click, so that's Alt left click. If I Alt, or I can just zoom in, middle mouse button, or I can click and hold and pan around, don't have to hold Alt. Or I can zoom if I hold down Alt and use my right mouse button, okay? And if I click on this table here, hit F, it also focuses it. So there is some overlap. That's good news. Those of you who aren't used to any of this, well, then you don't even care. But for those of us who work in multiple editors like Unity, and we use Maya a lot, it's nice that we can easily interact in our scene. Otherwise, we get all triggered. Okay, so here's a little thing that may seem boring, but it's very important for file organization, which, as I stress, is one of the most important things in game design. So what I'm going to do is Windows E to open up an Explorer. I'm going to navigate over here to my project. Remember, game design and Unreal game, Aliens in the Attic. Now, if I go into content here, you'll see I have collections, developers, and starter content. Okay, remember that? Now let's go into here, and in my content browser, look, all I have is that starter content folder, okay? So this is the only thing it shows in here. However, let's go ahead and right click and create a new folder. We're going to call this assets. This is where we're going to store all of our 3D assets and everything for the game. Now, if I Alt Tab over, you can see assets has been created here. So I'm going to give you a link to some assets we can start using in Moodle. So here's the link. Okay. Okay, so if you follow that link, you'll be able to download this assets folder. We're just going to put these meshes here in assets, and if you go in here to assets now, meshes, there are all of our meshes. Awesome. So good job thus far. So we're going to use this to kind of build walls and stuff around this little scene here, and I'll show you kind of how to interact and move things. Let's start with this basic wall here. We can just drag it in, and I can move around my scene holding Alt and clicking the middle mouse button there. So you'll get the hang of this interaction pretty quick as we build things out. So you can see we move around. We get these handles automatically, and we can move stuff around in the XYZ axis. You'll be learning about that if you don't already understand that. Don't worry, you definitely will. And what I want to do is I want to scale this though. So as in Maya, as in Unity, there's W, E, and R keys. So practice hitting those. If I go to E, I get this and I can rotate. If I hit R, I can scale on these different axes. And if I go back to W, I can move. So you're going to want to memorize those hotkeys W, E, and R, because not only are they useful for Unreal, they're also useful for Maya, which we'll be doing a lot of our modeling in, and in Unity, in case you're back and forth between two of the major and best game design engines in the world. So good to know those. W, E, R, practice. Let's go through them again. W to move in these different axes. E to rotate in these various axes. You just click on the axis you want to rotate on and then move it. And then R to scale. So we're going to go ahead and scale this sucker up. I'll move it over a little bit. And I don't need it to be perfect right now, but if you are a perfectionist, then you can go ahead and be perfect. And we will all give you hand claps. All right, so now it snaps to units. It's snapping to the grid right now. So in the next video, we're going to continue adding these walls here, and I'll show you how to turn off snap and on snap. I'll see you then.